Welcome to Quack Co, the board game channel where every video is 10 minutes or less guaranteed, and if that's not a reason for you to subscribe, I honestly don't know what is. Let's take a look at Cyberpunk 2077 together, and I'm doing this video for two reasons. One, because I am backing this campaign, and I want to go through and take a look at what they've added. CMON does a lot of stretch goals, adds things into the packages, and I want to sit down and talk about it with you. And second, they just released the opportunity for you, the fans, to play on TTS. We have a gameplay coming out here on the channel in the next few days, and I think it's a cool opportunity. Now, for those of you that are screaming about how every single game that they release should be on TTS, I have to say this. The logistics nightmare of getting an IP, especially a digital video game IP, to allow you to release a digital version of a board game, there's a lot of gray lines there that I didn't have to deal with, but someone had to. So, Cyberpunk 2077. What do I like about it so much right now? Well, it is an area control game where area control is not the main focus. It's this game where you're building out your tableau, you have asymmetric player powers, you're going through story cards that change the environment and change the atmosphere of the gameplay, and you have overpowered, super fun to play with cards and abilities and missions that you start to upgrade. There's a lot of punching back and forth, and a lot of that punching is not always about winning. It's not always about dominating. Half the time, it's actually about being strategic over being forceful or vengeful. And then sometimes it is just about being vengeful. So you can choose your story. I like the story mode a lot. I know for some people, the flexibility in the story mode or the randomness in the story mode reduces the degree of strategy in the area control portion of the game or the tactical portion of the game. For me, it adds theme and depth to the gameplay. So it fits me better while it might be a miss for some of you. You have the various gangs. You have your various abilities. You have all of your edge runners. It's not set in the video game world as much as it's set in the gangs of the city world, sort of a more earthy approach. We have all of our different miniatures with the different types of bases and the available edge runners that we have here. This is showing off everything that's going to be in the base box, which is interesting, but if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're probably already in the base box. Kickstarter exclusives here. So each one of these edge runners is actually really important. All of these Kickstarter exclusive edge runners are tied to special abilities that they all have. This is something that I would always play with, and that in my opinion adds a ton of value to the game. Other Kickstarter exclusive things. We have a team module, heist plan story. So these story cards, those are cool. They're nice to have included. I don't know that they're essential, but they're nice bonuses for sure. A single player variant, cool, interesting. I really like this game at 3 and 4 players primarily. 2 players right now has been a miss for me, but we'll see if that can change with some of their adaptations. Kickstarter exclusives, 3 solos, 3 tech days, 3 net runners, 6th street gang components. Oh, cool. So this is actually going to be introducing another gang, which that is very nice as well. It might take it up to a 5-player game. I still think 4 and 3 would be my preferred player count, though. 5 might be a bit too chaotic. I don't know if it does that, though. So what you can add to your pledge. Families and Outcasts expansion here. This is going to be adding in another exclusive netrunner. It's going to be adding in, it looks like, 2 more player boards and then a whole slew of context and stories. Outcast rules, 9 Wraith Gang figures. So for $50, you're adding in 2 more adjacent gangs. We have Gang Wars as well, which looks like it's adding in 3 adjacent gangs. And some scavenging content, some animal gang figures. Interesting. So you could get a whole nother set of gangs for about $100. I think these are take it or leave it. If you have the money to spend, these are awesome. They're going to be, more exclusive, harder to get. But I don't know that I inherently need more gangs immediately. Gangs of Night City Experience. Gameplay videos, that's going to be us. Stretch goals. What have they added? Single player mode, interesting, but, we'll see. These are going to be all the net runners that they've added. And I know some people were, brushing off the net runners. In my honest opinion, they actually add a ton of value to the game because I'm going to be incorporating them into the cycle of things that come out every single time. Reform time story. I like having more stories in the game. Team module. Solo gang, 6th Street Gang techies, 6th Street Gang net runners, So this is another faction that we have here. Heist Plan Story. I like another story. We have another set of Kickstarter exclusive netrunners that are going to be coming out. And then we have the optional buys. So let me look into these a little bit closer so that I can tell you my opinion on them. So here, Families and Outcasts expansion. We have the Wraiths gang. We have the Allocados gang. We have Kickstarter exclusive components. So we have Outcast rules. We have Bandits District board. Interesting. So there's going to be another adjacent board. We have the 9 Allocate gang figures, 9 Wraith gang figures, 2 gang dashboards, 6 color bases, 6 cards, 2 stories, and 29 various tokens. The stories are compelling. The Outcast rules module is compelling because it's going to add more functionality, more variability to the game state as it is. And the player factions are cool. I mean, each one is asymmetric. Each one adds a new way to play. If you like Root, if you like games like that give you a different puzzle to solve each time you dive in, I think they're compelling. 9 Animal Gang figures. So the Scavengers Gang, Mox's Gang, and Animals Gang. Okay, 9 Mox's Gang, 9 Scavengers Gang, 3 gang dashboards, 9 color bases, 12 cards, and 28 tokens. So this is primarily a gang bonus here. Which again, if you like Root and you like kind of having all of the expansions on hand, because each one adds a different puzzle piece for you to solve for, yeah, super compelling. However, I don't think either of the expansions are essential in my book. If you're trying to guess like what your price point is going to be, that would be my judge. Now, estimated shipping and cost by hub, I think, I could be wrong here, I think CMON has tried to overcorrect from everything else. And there's been a storm in the comments. You know, I probably couldn't do this video without mentioning it to some degree. I think they're trying to be as accurate as possible without doing what the majority of the industry is doing to this point, which is supplementing costs. Every publisher I've talked with has been eating shipping costs left, right, and center. And so I think they tried to factor that in here and give you as accurate quotes as they could, knowing that everything is more expensive now than it has ever been in the past, and so far we haven't seen a lot of that. We haven't seen it drop anywhere close to historic rates. We've seen it stabilize and start going down a bit, but even then, it's still quite a mess. So, and of course, like CMON is known for, they have added in piles and piles of exclusive miniatures and Kickstarter exclusive kind of elements. So I've got about a minute left, and like I said, the TTS mod is now available for those of you that want to double check and dive into this. But what's the high and low? What's the reason why you should back this and shouldn't back this? Well, if you like area control games, this is a compelling area control game that doesn't really play like almost anything else in my collection. I really enjoy this. It has that weird randomness, the chaos that you have to adapt to that comes from the story mode and the asymmetric abilities, while still having a lot of really crunchy like point decisions to be made, and the cards feel super powerful. Why should you not back this? Well, other than the obvious when it comes to like what your budget is, let's talk about the actual gameplay mechanics. I think there's some elements of this that are maybe too random and too loose in a way. With the story, with a little bit of the dice rolling, with this kind of the way that you engage in combat, not really knowing what you're going to draw up or who's going to have what card on hand. There are elements of this game that can feel punishing without you feeling like you had strategic control over that purely. And if you like area control games, just as area control games, this is not going to quite be that, because the story mode is super fun. The story mode is super compelling, but you have to be open to that experience and that kind of randomness inviting itself into the game state for you to enjoy this. That being said, if I was going to make the hard decision, if I was crunching numbers and not just backing all in, I would go with the base game. I would get all of those Kickstarter exclusive extra minis. I might get one or two. I might get one of the gang faction boards, but I don't think either is highly compelling right now. But the exclusives on this are going to add a lot of value to the gameplay. There you have it. That's my judgment call. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you have any questions along the way. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember, less time watching means more time playing. Bye.